Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So today's video I'm going to be working again on my Stitch the Seasons, and if you've been with me a little while you already know it's summer here in Australia, baking hot summer. So for those of you who are experiencing beautiful cool climates, lucky you. Hopefully our summer will start to settle down soon as we march towards autumn, but boy, it's been a hot one. Now, what did I do when I left you last? Okay, I finished my rows stitching wise. So I was thinking I didn't have a lot of threads with me. I think I mentioned that in the last video. For me it was yesterday, for you it was a week. But I went looking in my cupboard and I had packed my threads from Brisbane. I wasn't sure if I'd thrown them in, but I had. So that just gave me so many more options. And I ended up with my yellow sort of drifting around these guys here. I think I even brought in one of these oranges. I even brought in this dark burnt orange just to get a little bit of depth into the center of that flower. And where I could, I did a nice, overcast stitch, satin stitch, or itty bitty little stitches just to sort of break it up a little bit. I'm going to bring that right up to the camera so you can see. Really happy with it. Now the plan was, as I mentioned in the last video, that in this piece I'm sort of doing these clusters of beads through it. I did in the other one, but more so this one, and I'm getting a bit braver and using some big feature pieces. Now, beads. I have with me the beads I didn't think I'd use in Brisbane. I packed up a small little kit to travel backwards and forwards with me of my favourites, and hardly any of those favourites actually work on this piece. So I was like, right, one needs to think a little bit further. I did bring up this tray. It's a little bit of everything, but it's some jewellery that's been broken down. And I still didn't really find much in there that would assist. There is some yellow, and that's sort of the colour I'm looking for, but they are sort of really big. There might be a couple in there. We'll leave it out. I do have a little bit of orange, but really just not quite for the project. I probably could have got a bit out of this one for the bird, so he's not too bad, and that one there. But I'm missing the brights in tiny beads. So for me yesterday, and for you last Friday, I mentioned I was going to go into Spotlight to the new one they built in Hervey Bay. They've moved the existing store. So I found this. Really, really impressed. They are tiny, hence I got myself some straw needles because I just didn't think I had many Reginals here that would do the job. So I picked up this little set. Look at that. Wacky-doo. What a great little set. Not sure how well these little containers will go, but I guess I can transfer them if I need to. When the lid pops off, and literally pops off. But really good. For this piece, I think I can really play, especially with some oranges and yellows. So happy with that. Then I spotted this piece, this pack. These look like they'd be more dangerous to open, actually. I think there's a little plastic grip in there. I've just trimmed my fingernails back too, of all days to trim my fingernails back when I need to pick up beads. It's going to be a struggle. Look at that. What possibly could go wrong there? Oh, now I've already dropped a bead and I've got no fingernails. Oh, I should have got some tweezers. Might just make bead soup out of it all, hey? Give up. Because this is going to drive me nuts. There's static electricity. Look, I got a blue, oh my goodness, I got a blue one in with the reds and a cream in with the chocolates. Already I'm not happy. Oh, put them away, put them away. So what I want to do today is focus just on beading, and I can, if time permits, go up to this flower. I had some leftover cotton from the center of this guy, so I came up here to this orange one and started laying in some additional stitches in amongst the ribbon that we did yesterday for me. It's so confusing. I'm trying, and here, this will really bake your noodles. It's actually pre-New Year's Eve for me in real life, but we're into February. I'm trying my darndest to pre-record this finished. That way I know every Friday my piece is done and the videos are all preloaded. So I'm actually still in 2023 and you guys are well and truly into February. Isn't that just, yeah, crazy. Now, focus girl. I need some beads that I can slide into here. So I think these are too big and I'd love a feature bead, but let's grab the bead tray and have a little look. I'm going to try and do this organized like. So I picked up this bead tray when I first started gathering beads, and it's actually been pretty good, especially when you're sitting on the couch. I do have a square one. See, that's just too big. Like, I love it, but if that was a fraction smaller, so it might be a case of I need to use those. Now, the other thing I have is in the process of packing up and coming up here, I had started breaking down a heap of old jewellery. Now, this was all jewellery that I'd found in my mum's closet, and we were often making jewellery together at courses or just when we were out, you know, camping or something. I'd take a heap of jewellery with me, and I've been slowly breaking it all down. Oh, this has got potential. No, that's those same ones. Breaking it all down and putting it within my beads. I've taken the pieces out that I loved and want to keep. So that's an old one. I remember that as a kid. That's probably from when I was a little girl. Actually, I better keep that one. There's a few in here that I just couldn't decide. So Chelsea, my best mate's daughter, has been, whenever they come over for dinner, Chelsea sits there and breaks everything down and sorts it all. So there's still a few more little pieces to go. And I thought there might be something in amongst it. And these are pieces I'll never, ever in a million years wear this jewellery. I'm not a big bead jewellery person. I was when I was younger, but not so much now. I don't know, I tend to race out the door and barely put anything on, so it has to be jewellery that's permanently on me. And then it's got to be jewellery that can handle the life that I lead. I can go from indoor jobs to outdoor jobs in a split second. It's barely enough time to think, gee, you've got a piece of jewellery on that's not suitable for digging in the garden. This one here, I think, is bits and pieces of that one. There might be something in there more than I think. There's definitely some orange. And is there anything really on that that I'd cut it now? So I love that one. That might be good up the top there. It's so big. It's a pretty bead. Yeah, I don't think I need to. Look at that one. I don't know where she got this from. We did so many little bead courses, and you know, when you go to a new town for a holiday and you're camping and you find out there's a bead, there's a couple in there, a bead business in town, and they offer little classes and things. Mum and I do a lot of that. I'm going to upend those because I think probably that, oh, it's a bit dull, isn't it? All right, let's put it to one side. Let's get our needle and we'll have a play. So the plan is to bead up a storm today. I really wanted a yellow, like a bright yellow. Let's grab one of these straw needles. Now, I'm not a fan of straw needles, but sometimes your beads are so small, you need something really fine like a straw needle. I found that when I was doing this one, I had a little container of red beads with me, and rattling around in the bottom of that container, where is it? Was, where are you? Anyway, rattling around in the bottom of the container of red beads was quite a few blue beads. Here it is. I'll get my hands on it. Might pull that out too because I think I can mix a little bit. So in the bottom there was the odd blue bead, and I got all of them out except for about 10 that just did not fit through my needles. So I wanted to put them up the top. I think I mentioned that last week. So now I can, because I've got, it's going to have to be that square one. It's not my ideal bead, but one has to work with what she has. Let's get him down. And then we can go hunting for baby beads, because it is going to be a cluster of all sorts. And I sort of want that glassy, shimmery look. All right. Let's wedge him into this corner here, and then we can taper it out. So how have you all been? I've been doing cleaning and getting ready for the New Year's Eve crowd. They're actually on a plane as we speak. So I think it's the 27th of December for me. And my Melbourne guests are starting to make their way towards me. We're in the grips of a heat wave with severe thunderstorms each evening. It is just vicious. We, touch wood, at Burrum Heads have been very lucky, but Brisbane, oh my gosh. I've been watching them roll on through, and it's just been brutal down there. Mini tornado-y, nasty little storms. Just picking up a few of these clear ones. Oh, my needle's still not big enough. All right, back to getting another needle. Yeah, so it's just been, gosh, wild storms. There's been so many people affected, and the power. This will so be old news by the time you guys join me on this video. Let me grab Ducky. Ducky is now a Burrum duck. So whenever I get a needle that I know I'll use, I've just been popping him into Scrappy Duck. And he's ready, loaded. So let's try this again. Pick up a couple more of these little yellow beads that I upended in my tray. Throw a few of them in because they're like a clear see-through yellow. Now, as my grandmother would say, 2 stitches through every bead keeps them on the bride. She was a wedding dress maker. So one is going to do what one has been told to do because it probably is a good idea. Let me just grab these spotlight beads out now. I'm going to take the glasses off. I need my vision to be spot on. Oh, look like Tic Tacs, don't they? Yeah, they're perfect. Gosh, I was doing a happy dance in there. So I mentioned yesterday that my spotlight in Hervey Bay has moved to a brand new building with a few other retailers, and I've been sort of avoiding that Christmas rush, and I said to my husband, I'm to the point where I really need to dodge into town, get some beads, another needle pack full beads, because I want to film this video today before my Melbourne guests arrive. So I probably won't get back to this piece then well and truly into the new year. Anyway, I'm just going to organise myself here a bit. I've got my tray, my black tray is just sitting to the side here. I'm picking up these random little beads just so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Might put that in there. I'm going to move over a little bit, organised. So anyway, we went, and it was good because it wasn't busy. It was reasonable compared to what's been going on in society with Christmas and things like that. So I didn't put 2 stitches in that because I'm yibby-yabbering. Gosh, sorry, Grandma. In we went, and it was beautiful. It's a huge building, and they've got this undercover parking, which is great, an escalator up into it, and then within the building itself, as soon as you get to the top of the stairs, you've got a anaconda and Skechers, which is a shoe outlet, the biggest Skechers I've ever seen. There's a surfwear shop, which was really cool for the kids. There's lots of beach clothing and things, perfect for Hervey Bay, being that we're a seaside town. What else was in there? Good Guys. So a lot of them have either come to town or they've moved from old buildings to this new building. I really need a nice big feature bead there, guys. Maybe I do need to put this big... It would work. What the hang? Let's just do it. Let's be bold. Yes, so in the spotlight I went. Lovely. It's so neat and tidy. I think it's been open about 3 weeks. So if you're in America, it's like a Hobby Lobby. That's just ridiculously big. Nope. I love it, but it's ridiculous. Maybe I can get away with a bit of orange. I'm just glancing over here to some of these. And I had a wander. Hubby went down to Good Guys and had a wander. And because it's just after Boxing Day sales, I picked up 3 gorgeous beach towels. Haven't really thought too much about beach towels. Well, it's a bit of a dirty bead. Haven't thought too much about beach towels because, gosh, haven't been to the beach for years. But I've got guests coming, that Melbourneites who want to swim in the lake. Well, that actually works. Gosh, I thought that was a real brownie looking bead, but it's actually come alive on the piece. Isn't that interesting? You really need to, as Rachel would say, audition things, because the light has really picked up on that yellow surrounding space. Happy days. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I found some beach towels and they were half price. So I picked up some of those. I went to pull my beach towels out pre-Christmas, and they would be 35 years old. And I've looked at them, I thought, oh, how embarrassing, these things. And then I went back to Brisbane pre-Christmas and flew around the shops like a mad girl, picking up bits and pieces I knew I needed for the house, and and beach towels were on my list. And everywhere I went for a decent beach towel, I was looking at $70 to $120. So it was just appalling. And I was like, what's happened in the last 30 years? Bugger it, the beach towels will be what they are. And I sort of put it out of my mind because I thought, I am not paying $70 for a beach towel when I've got 3 reasonably okay beach towels. Let's just leave it at that. They're daggy. We'll add one word to the description. They're daggy. So I thought, nah, look, there's no airs and graces with our mates. They're really down to earth. They're lovely. So I thought, they won't care. They'll probably rib me a bit, but it's a beach towel. So into Spotlight I trot. Into the linen section is the first section that you walk through as you go through the store. And beach towels, half price. And they were all about $30. And they were huge, and they were soft, and they were non-thread pulled. They were beautiful. So I went through the big pile and I picked a blue one and a pink one and then a navy one. So I was happy with that. So I'm trotting through the store, big grin on my face, thinking I've, the cat that's got the mouse. What's the saying? The cat's whiskers. Anyway, round to the craft section, and I was looking at the beads, and it's not a big section, and I picked up a packet of each colour that I thought might be handy, and I thought, gosh, they're in plastic bags with the little hang cell cardboard top. These are going to go everywhere. What containers do I have? Now I've got to buy containers. All the thoughts that go through your brain. And I turned around, and here was that pack sitting there on a shelf. They weren't on sale, which was a bit, disappointing. I thought the sign said $17 under them, and I thought, well, there's a lot of beads there. That's pretty good. But I checked my receipt later, and they were $23, so I don't know what happened there. I didn't really read the sign too well, obviously. But so I got my beads, and I shot over to the needle department and found my straw needles. They actually had needles in stock. Brisbane, I don't know, everyone must be getting into slow stitch because, gee, it's getting hard to find needles. And if you want some of the really good ones, good luck. Like is it Bowman needles or Bowen needles? Good luck. You're lucky if you can get the birch needles. It's all you slow stitchers out there, you Brisbane girls. The competition is thick on the ground, I think. So, happy girl. Found hubby cruising around Anaconda, which is like a big sportswear camping type shop, if you're unsure of it's not a snake shop. The Anaconda brand and Spotlight brand are owned by the same company, and they actually developed the site. So they're starting to get into real estate, which is the smart thing to do if you're a company. It's still a family involved business. It was started by a gentleman. I think the first store was in Melbourne. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aussie girls. I think it was Melbourne. And they've grown to be quite a mega giant because they've acquired other businesses and sportswear. Anaconda is one of them. There are other brands, but I just, for the life of me, can't think. Doesn't really matter. So they've bought this block of land opposite Bunnings on the main drag through our Harvey Bay town and have built this mega complex. And 2/3 of it have tenants. They had also a cafe in there, which is a up-and-coming brand for Queensland. It's probably been around in other states a while. It's called Cafe 63. They have the best menu if you want pancakes, crepes, toasted sandwich. Do a second stitch, Corinne, to secure your thread before you go pick up that bead. So yeah, they were very busy, but we thought, what the hang, we'll wait. So we got a table and ordered myself a steak sandwich. Gaz had a, what do they call them? Club sandwich. It was very generous with chips. My steak sandwich was a little bit on the skimpy side, but it was plenty. Like, you don't need to roll out the place stuffed to the eyeballs, do you? So once we left there, we started making our way out of the town, and just as you depart Harvey Bay, there's a small shopping centre near a Harvey Norman Electrical, and that's got a Woolworths in it. So that's like my local, I sort of grab my groceries as we leave town. I was going to swing into the little discount store that's there near that Woolies, but it was so hot, and because we had frozen goods in our trolley, we really needed to make our way to the car and get out of Dodge, get back to Burham Heads. So that was a fantastic adventure. Sort of buying beads, fantastic adventure. Listen to it. I'm pleased. So you guys will probably be a bit confused because I've been banging on about not having bright coloured beads for some time. So you'll probably see these beads have popped up in previous videos, like probably a month ago. And you'll be thinking, we've already seen them, Corinne. Well, you very well may have. So now I'm just going, I've sort of filled in around this big feature bead with the little ones and drifted out a little bit. So I've got this gap here, a gap there, and a gap there. So the plan is to do the same. I could do with probably a little bit bigger. Do we dare open that other tray and try and grab out a bigger yellow bead? Oh, I'm really skittish. Put it down on the bench. Concentrate on your hands. Oh, the clips. Pick up one bead. Oh, I can't. Two beads. Should we get some yellows out, oranges out while we're here? Might as well, because we're going to go and do that. Oh, gosh. What goose designed this? It's going to have to be colourful bead soup, I think. If I can get them out. Like, how do I go about dispensing them out? I'd have to cover it. Or do I just mix them all up in a bowl and then individually pick them out? Oh, I don't know. Silly. Okay, let's whack this guy in. Chuck him in there. He's very yellow, isn't he? It's all right. Once we get a few others around him. Those big beads might be good down in these flowers too. Yeah, look at that. Ow, lost him. Oh gosh, guys, if I get to the end of this video and beads haven't gone flying everywhere, it will be a bloomin' miracle. I've had a coffee too, so I've got shaky paws. It's probably not the right temperament to be beading. I'm a little bit hyped up too with my friends coming. They touched down about 8:30 into Caloundra on the Sunshine Coast of Queensland, or Maroochydore, not Caloundra. There's no airport at Caloundra, guys. The local girls will be like, what's she talking about? Since when is there an airport at Caloundra? Maroochydore-ish, Coolum. North of Maroochydore, south of Coolum is a airport, and the flights were quite economical to fly into there and then hire a car and drive up to me. So they've got about a 2.5 hour drive, which is better than 4 hours out of Brisbane. So that's what they decided to do. And they should be here about 11. Depends how many stops they make, of course. But yeah, we're expecting them around 11:30, 11 o'clock. And I got a message, well, I woke to a message on my phone to say we're at the airport, sitting in the plane, waiting for takeoff. So they are in the air as I film, jetting their way to a lovely week at Barham Heads with Gaz and I. Oh, it's going to be so noisy. Bloomin' pinball machines. Guys, you have no idea what it's like living with machines. Hubby's had them out in the shed for years, but because the shed's not built, they're in the house. And he has 10 of them sitting here. Oh my goodness. At least he hasn't started doing repairs and maintenance and all the things he does with them, because then you have bits everywhere. So he's been quite refrained. And the noise, oh, lordy, they just, does that look weird, that bead? It does, doesn't it? Stay within the yellows, girl. So it's going to be every evening, pinball machines banging on. Luckily, I have doors that I can close to break that sound, and I'll just put a movie on and do some stitching, because it's not for me. It gets me too hyped up. I'm sure I've told you that already. And I find that you put your hands on the machine and you're touching the button all the time, and to get the flippers to bounce the ball around, I start to get a bit of tendinitis. And the last thing I'm going to do is strain my hands, because then I can't stitch. That would be a bad disaster. So I need to be a little careful. And you really need to get into it to understand the objective and the gameplay and what you need to achieve. And there's levels you need to complete to get to the next level. And it's a real thing. And I just don't have yeah. Plus it makes me hypey. The noise and I need quiet. I just need quiet stitch. Keeps my brain in a good space, you know. Even just playing music annoys me a bit. Oh, now I've lost my thread. I think I need to trim this. It's getting a bit furry. So I will be, when they're playing pinball, either making food for them. I've got lots of nibblies and snacks and a few roasts, so I'm the cook. It'll be fun. And they love to walk and explore, so there'll be lots of beach walks, and take them through the back of the block here and find some of the hidden lakes that are in behind me. It'll be great. Really looking forward to it. And then when they're playing pinball, I'll just whack a movie on and pick up a project to stitch, because there's plenty to do, isn't there? There's a lot going on. I really like to bring another one of those in, but I think I'll save him for over there. I've got a long tubular bead. That might work. There is a special name for those. And for the life of me, I can't remember. I was watching some YouTube lady probably about 18 months ago that did a lot of beading. She hasn't made a video for ages. She was so clever in the way that she layered them. But and she'd use their correct names. So I was like, oh, is that what it's called? but it's gone. I just can't retain everything. If someone does know the name of the tubular bead, throw it up onto the comments. That can refresh my memory. Okay, so now I just want to throw a few in around there. I'm thinking. Quick reload. So if you've heard of Nemo thread, I've got some sitting in here. See the little roll of thread? Where's the camera? Just there. That's Nemo thread. I picked that up at a retreat I did last year. It's really strong. I believe it's silk. I might be wrong. It might be a synthetic, but I'm pretty sure it's silk. It is the go-to beading thread. I didn't know it existed until that retreat, and I got a little roll of it with some beads. Comes in multiple colours. When I did a bit of research on it, because it is quite expensive to buy, I found that it seemed to be popping up a lot with the industry of fly fishing. And the fly fishing people who make those gorgeous little insect fly little thingies they put on their hooks, they use a thread to tie it all down. And I don't know, I'm not 100% sure, but boy, it looked like the same thread, and they could get a whole reel of it for very little money, where you slip over into the embroidery world and we get very little of it for a lot of money. But I haven't got back to researching whether A, it is the same product. Someone might know. Is it Nemo thread? Because I typed in Nemo thread and up popped fly fishing websites with nice generous rolls of it. I've got, now I'm up here at Burrum, I've got a few rallies that are right into the fishing, and I wanted to ask them if they knew if it was called Nemo thread, but so far the few I have asked have said, oh, they didn't know. They just know it's a silk thread that they can use to create, you know, little flies. So I suspect it might be cheaper to buy it from a fishing tackle shop or a fly fishing supplier. I don't know. I might be wrong. Quite possibly wrong. I might put another... Are these cabochon beads? These long tubular things? Don't know. Just that word popped into my head. I should get myself a little roll of that thread and just trial it out. Can compare it to this. It's really strong, so it's designed to hold beads on. But if you double stitch everything and then do a stitch in between long runs of stitches, like Jennifer's got a fantastic video that she did during the year that Jennifer Clouston shows you how to stitch beads on, especially if you're putting them onto a bag or clothing. You need to make sure that just the wear and tear of using that item doesn't, you know, you don't lose your beads. When it's just a piece hanging on the wall, I'm not too concerned. I know this is not going to get rough treatment, or if it was going into a journal, I wouldn't be too concerned. A bit different on the side of a bag that's getting bumped and used. Just going to knot that again. I don't think I did a good enough knot. I'm putting a bit of concentration there on that knot. So what I might do is I'm going to, while I'm down this end of the piece, and I have that one orange bead out, I'm going to put him into this piece. This little flower can have come here, little orange bead. So what are you guys all stitching on? And if you haven't joined our Facebook site, come on over. There's details in the description below. You just have to answer 2 questions, which is where do you live? So just tell us your country and your favourite stitch. And then we get a notification to say that you've completed that, and I then go in and give you the tick of approval, and that brings you into our little Facebook group we've got. And it's run by myself, Susanna from Vintage Blend Studios, and Tia from Calm Creations. We're the 3 administrators. So, yeah. My phone just buzzed. Are they off the plane, are they? Let's have a little look. Nope, it's not them. A little bit of thread there left. So I might just, let's attempt another orange bead. So just do a couple stitches first, just to secure my thread. Sometimes those little knots just don't do it, do they? Oh gosh, now I need to open this blooming container again. Oh. I actually know the owner of this company because I buy Christmas stock from them. I might make a comment about his beads. Often he's at the Christmas showing that comes to town that I can visit and pick stock from my business. His product people are definitely there. Do you reckon I can pull some strings? It's who you know what you don't know. What is it? It's who you know what... I don't know. It's what you know. No, it's who you know what you don't know. You're all telling me out there. I can feel you're all yelling at your screens going, it's what you know, not who you know. No, it's who you know what you don't know. Oh my goodness. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Got it. Got it. Got it. That's funny. Oh dear. Concentrate, girl. What you're doing. And stop trying to be wise. Oh boy. Let's knock this little one off. Ow. Okay. Lovely. We'll do another one there, but I need a smaller bead. The flower is a lot smaller. So what we might do is have a look at the orange beads in that other container. These guys. I think they will work a treat. I never thought I would own orange beads. It is so not a colour I would buy. But you do these pieces that push your boundaries, don't you? Right, get a knot first. Let's get this little guy. And then I might use the yellow ones that I've got here. I'm not sure if I did those pistol stitches with you guys on the last video. I might have, where I stitched over the ribbon. Really happy with the way that came together. Just added another layer of detail to those little ribbon flowers. Okay, up to this guy. I'll do a stitch just to secure my cotton. There we go. Grab myself a little very orange bead. Why couldn't the other beads be in those containers like that? I should have probably left them on the shelf. Now I'll scoot over to this guy. Come on. Come out, come out. Put a little one in there. If you haven't added beads to a piece of your work yet, and you're a newbie, do it. Find yourself just a cheap set of little beads, just something to play with in the colours that you love, and add a few, because it really adds life. I think it puts that little bit of shimmer interest, just makes it look really cute. Now I'm going to scoot across to that other flower, but I'm going to do a few little invisible stitches to get there. So it's a bit of a distance between flowers there. I could have ended it off and started again, but won't hurt to have those extra stitches in as you make your way across to another flower that's in another location. Sometimes that's just as secure. Let's have another go. We're going to scoot over here. I've been thinking about these wispy little green leaves, and I'm thinking I will probably satin stitch them in, is what I'm feeling like doing with them. There we go. How are we going for time? Like, I've been rabbiting on here. I want to get to the top of this piece. The other thing I need to put some thought into is I added this crocheted edge to this piece. So to add then buttons to connect to the next piece could be somewhat of a challenge. It dawned on me probably about 2 weeks after I did it. But yesterday I was thinking about it. How do I attach buttons into that crocheting? And I thought, well, I could make Summer my bottom piece. That way this little crocheted edge is sitting at the bottom of my work, and Spring is above, which we have done, and that then just makes the seasons go up. Does that make sense? So I would do, if I was hanging it on the wall, winter would be above spring, and then autumn would be at the very top. So with that in mind, when I go into my autumn piece, it will be the top of my seasonal calendar. So when I do that, I will have to make a decision about the hanger. I will attach buttons that will then connect to winter, and then winter will then connect to spring. And that sort of works because spring doesn't have anything that would interfere with it connecting at the very top. And this piece will be summer at the bottom. So I've decided that's how I'm going to lay my pieces together because of that crochet edge I put on. That whim of an idea has now forced my hand to actually use this as the bottom of my piece, which I'm okay with. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I might just grab myself a little bit more cotton, trying to be so delicate. Just as I say that, I throw the thread because I've got containers of beads open everywhere here. Everything's perched. How are we going for time? Oh my gosh. Where does it go, guys? It's just not enough. Got 10 minutes. That's okay. We will head up there. I just want to put one more yellow bead down here before I move out of that zone and forget that there's nothing there. Okay. Beautiful. We're going to call those flowers complete. Looking forward to doing the birds. You're probably wondering, when is she going to get to the birds? They're going to be right at the very end. I want to eat my vegetables first and then get to the dessert. So background, flowers, all done, and then I'll work on my little birds. Okay, let's flip the piece very carefully. We're going to focus in on the center here. So let's get some nice orange beads happening. I do have that one on that necklace, but I don't know if I want to cut that. Like, look at those. They pretty much take the whole piece. No, not today. Even that one's pretty good. No, I don't know. I don't feel like I should cut that. Let's just leave it for a rainy day. And this little one, which is also suitable, they're already represented here. So I got enough orange here to do it. We'll save those big beads for another project another day. Probably never ever use orange beads again, mind you. But anyway, you never know. I sort of gave the job to Chelsea to break those pieces of jewellery down. I don't know, every time I'd pick up the piece, I'd remember something, or not so much the jewellery, just the experience that we had. So what am I doing? So I did keep a few pieces. Need someone else to break it down is what I'm trying to say. Let's get rid of some of these tassely bits. Okay, we're ready. At least the piece, when I look at this one, I will see these beads and those memories are still going to be with me. Here we go. He's a bit flat, but I think once I get a bit of sparkle in there, let's pick up that guy and start building. Might sneak up onto that braid a little bit. Because we can. And now we'll decrease in size and work our way back. I'm going to drop him in. Do we be brave again and tackle this crazy? Let's get 2 of these. Gosh. Maybe I'll give this to my house guest and say, Raylene, can you organise these beads into the following containers? They need to go into like something with a lid, don't they? That way I can take them out and use them if I want them. Avoid them going everywhere, you know. Don't you go anywhere, little beads, stay there. Now we could do with some smaller ones. We've got some nice big chunky beads. Let's get smaller with some of these. This is the first time I've actually been quite brave with beading and gone for these bigger, more robust beads. Oh, he's gone. Where'd you go? Don't knock that over. I might get myself another thread. That's getting a bit stingy. And that's when things start going wrong. When your thread starts getting a bit small. Okay, let's try that knot again. Probably did knot, but let's just double knot it. Excuse me. Okay, last big thread. Look at those ones. They'd work in there, won't they? That is a fantastic pack. Okay, I might just get myself some of these guys next. They match that ribbon beautifully. Close the lid. No, won't close. 2-hand job. Put it to one side. I bet you guys are sitting on your edge of your seat just waiting for beads to go flying, aren't you? I've lost the bead. Where'd the bead go? Seriously, concentrate on what you're doing, girl. Disaster will strike. What a great match that guy is. Why didn't I notice him first up? Riveting viewing for you guys. But I guess if you're a newbie out there, it doesn't hurt to see these things and go, beads might be what I need next in my life. And if you've been around a bit, you might go, haven't picked up my beads for a while. I might just toddle off to my stash and dig out a bead or two. Come on. Don't forget, in the description below are other YouTubers that are doing this project as well. It's really interesting to see different ways they have been treating their fabrics, different styles, and yeah, some fantastic work. They're just all doing such a great job. Go and check them out. Go have a look in the description, and I've listed the other YouTubers. If I've missed anyone or there's someone's joined us that I haven't realised, let me know so I can add their channel to the description so we can watch them. if you type in hashtag stitch the season, that also brings them up. I should probably do that again and just see if there's someone there that has missed, I've missed. I might put one of these sparkly ones in next. Well, you'd be well over the hour, surely. I just don't want to speed up because what possibly would go wrong? Huh? I'm being very careful. I'll do 2 beads. I'll probably get this guy in next. There we go. 2 stitches, he's in. Should I bring a fancy one in or just do little guys? I think I'll do little guys. A little bit of yellow. Imagine what you could do to the centre of a sunflower with beads. There's a rabbit hole. Go and look at Instagram. Or not Instagram, what do they call it? Pinterest. If you're not on Pinterest, it's not a bad one to have a look at because you can type in or you can search a topic that you like, and it might be beaded sunflowers. And then everyone that's ever done them and has posted an image on Pinterest, where are these beads going? I'm dropping them and they're gone. Are they on my piece? There's one. Oh gosh, the mystery of it all. Yeah, and you can create like a folder with things that you like. So you can gather together, you know, ideas of beaded sunflowers. And then one day when you go to do a beaded sunflower, you've got all this resource there that caught your eye. It's, yeah, if you're not on Pinterest, it might be worth going over and having a little look. I know the Roxy girls have created a folder there with most of their projects. So things that caught their eye are all together in a cluster, in a folder that you can go and check out. And it's really good because it gives you a bit of an idea quickly of what the girls' vision was for a particular project. Now, I haven't really done it a lot myself, but when I first started out in the whole getting into stitching thing, before YouTube came along for me, I was doing a lot of it because I was like, wow, look at that, embroidery has come a long way. So I do have a little bit of a folder thing happening, but I haven't created anything public, so to speak, for like the Roxy girls have. So yeah, if you're not familiar with Pinterest, go and check it out because there's some amazing creators. And sometimes if you type in the word free in front of a word, you might come up with a pattern that's free, that's being provided by a website. So you click on it and it'll take you to their website, and there might actually be a pattern you can download, and you know, it's definitely worth, you can lose yourself for an hour in Pinterest. Lots of rabbit holes there. Okay guys, I'm just packing up my little stash of orange beads before they hit the deck. I did well. I did well. No accidents. All is good. My new favourite cluster of beads. Really only useful for summer. But I now have some brights in my collection. Happy days. Now, for sure you'll all ask me about this. Elizabeth Ward is the brand. It's a bead sorting container. Having said that, on Amazon, about $100, but there are knockoffs of it now, or maybe these guys created it and they copied it. I don't know, it doesn't matter anyway. So you can, if you search a storage container for beads, you may find it in your country. I found this online for about $39, I think it was, from Craft Online, and it's an Australian website. I'm pretty sure they do ship overseas. There's a bead. So yeah, definitely worth it if you're starting to gather a bit of a collection. I think I've got 4 of these. My first one I bought was the expensive one, and I was like, gosh, that's going to mount up to some serious money. But then I found them a lot cheaper, and they're starting to be around a little bit more affordable. So the Australian website is Craft Online. Otherwise, Amazon sells the Elizabeth Ward brand, and you might find it's quite reasonable in your country. It certainly isn't in Australia. So yeah, that'll answer that question, because it always comes up when I bring that container out. This is just a bead tray that I picked up at a bead shop that's in Brisbane. All About Beads is where I get some of my beads from, and they had these trays there for I think it was like $9 or something. There's that orange bead. So I find it quite good because it sort of has that velvet in the bottom, so it sort of just gives you that little bit of traction. Here we go again. In and out. If that tray topper thing wasn't, I have to get that bead out of there. That tray top thing wasn't in place, this would just be an utter disaster, wouldn't it? So I have to tidy it. It's messing with my head. Okay. That one there is one of those little ones. That one there is that one. Oh no. Gosh, I need to go, guys. I'm seriously wasting your time now, but I'm happy. See, it's all organised. Get the lid down, walk away from the beads. All right, guys, have a lovely day, and I will catch you next Friday to work on another flower. I might, for my homework, I'll stitch in this guy. I'll grab the rest of my orange threads and finish that flower, and then it'll really be these flowers and the little purple ones, and then some plants, and we'll be into the birds. All right, look after yourselves, have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.